Alright, back in this 97 International. It failed its pre-delivery inspection. Let's see how she does on a basic A service, which is a basic inspection. Even more basic than the pre-delivery inspection. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
Want to hear the turbo whistle? Turbo whistles. Alright, so first thing we'd want to do is go through the diagnostic port and check for any fault codes. I did that earlier and I forgot to film it. She didn't have no fault codes. Now we're going to do just like in the PDI, and we're going to check the windshield wipers. Ready? Look at that. Suckers move. Alright. Now we're going to check all the warning lamps and all that. Now what we do is we check all the warning lamps, and I can tell you right now, just by going off them, they all work. I've been through them. All you're going to do is get all the warning lamps click. Now, for instance, if you're in a truck with air brakes, what you would do is you would just turn the truck off and hit the brake pedal and let all the air drain out, and then make sure that the low air buzzer comes off around 60 psi, whatever that truck gauge calls for. Then you're going to go through, well, protection valve, we ain't going to have one on this truck, so I can't do that. So we're going to tap and now we're going to check the operation of the horn. Yeah, it works. All right. So we're going to check the mud flaps and everything. We're not going to check the mud flaps. We don't got none. So just like the PDI, Old International, she ain't doing too well. So now we're going to check the muffler for an exhaust leak. Now when you've been around engines and trucks long enough, you can hear an exhaust leak. So here's my stack right here, and as I'm listening, I don't hear any kind of exhaust leak, not even when I did a cold startup on it. But not sure if this truck will be ever seeing the road again. So I don't hear a leak. I don't see a leak. Air flows up. So I'm gonna call that good. Don't hear anything coming from the manifolds or anything like that. Same thing with the turbo. I checked that, listened for any exhaust, looked around there to see anything wrong with the welds or the piping on the turbocharger, and everything sounded and looked very, very well. All right. So then what you would do is you would drain the fuel and water. You're gonna check that. Easy enough. Then what you do is then we're gonna pop the hood open, and we're gonna check all the fluid levels. We're gonna check our coolant. We're gonna do a coolant test on there. Make sure our coolant is not too thin, not too thick on a water to coolant ratio. Then we're gonna go and check our oil level, see how the oil, test the oil, feel the grittiness of it. Check through all that, simple stuff like that. Check the if it's got a master cylinder reservoir for the clutch, make sure that's all good. Check because this is hydraulic brakes, runs off brake fluid for the brakes. We're gonna check our brake fluid reservoir and make sure that's all doing good. Make sure you don't want no dirt and anything in your brake and master cylinder reservoir, so you want to make sure that looks all nice and clean whenever you open the caps. You also want to make sure you don't knock any dust into it. And then what you do is we then go underneath the truck and find all the grease fittings, and then lube her up. Do a little chassis lube, what they call it. And then measure tread depth. Basic stuff you would do during your standard PMI, preventive maintenance inspection. And measure tires, make sure everything. And then when you're done with all that, service date, put your date right there, put the mileage, and put what kind of oil you're putting in it. And this truck, I guess, about a 1540. All right. Yep. I'm gonna say this truck get a big old X. Lockout, tag out, do not operate on the roads. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one.